Good evening. The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades. You must stay at home. Telling cafes, pubs, bars and restaurants to close tonight as soon as they reasonably can and not to open tomorrow. We're also telling nightclubs, theatres, cinemas, gyms to close on the same timescale.
I first started going to Spartans of November 2019. However, with the coronavirus stopping all gyms and boxing taking place, I wanted to know the effects that it had on the gym and Spartans in general. The first question I had was how many years they had been boxing.
I started quite late. I started when I was 16. It's at about 28 years.
I think it's about 2 years now.
It's about 2 years.
I've been boxing probably about 4 years now, on and off, sort of mainly for about 3.
2 years now.
My dad took me down to the gym roughly when I was about 3, just tip-tapping, and I started with Tony when I was about 5, and ever since then. So Spartans itself started when I moved from our previous gym to Legends, which used to be called GYM. A friend of mine, Ben Sava, who's a professional boxer and a professional coach in Australia, we set up Spartans Boxing Club together. Obviously he's left now, so I sort of took over with myself and Elton, and it's just grown from there.
With such a range of different ages and experiences, I want to know how certain people got into boxing.
I played footy since I was 4 till 16. Had an injury, broke my arm, broke it quite bad. In cast for like a while, I was eating junk food, playing Xbox a lot, so I put on quite a bit of weight. Needed to lose weight, get fit again for the season when it come up, and luckily Tony lived over the road. My dad and him were friends, knew that he had a little boxing club going, so went to box fit classes. Really enjoyed it, come down to the sessions and just stuck with it. Been football off as soon as I hit 16 and just boxed all the way.
I first started it for like self-defence, and then like Tony asked like, do you want to fight and all that, and I was like, yeah. And
When lockdown was in place, I did keep seeing people doing runs and trying to raise money for the gym itself. I want to know how the boxing has impacted their lives.
I think it's made me fitter. I want to do more things like actively.
Well, these days now there's knife crime, drugs everywhere, but having boxing in my life has made me not be a part of that. So training 3 times a week, 4 times a week, sometimes 5, it's got me out of that and got me in a good place.
When did you first start coming to Spartans?
I would say, what's the year, 2020, probably about this time In 2016, I'd say that I first came along.
When I was about 12, so no, 11, so 2 years ago.
So about 10 years ago, I just got released from prison. I was working in a factory and I wanted to get back into boxing, so I just started training at a gym. One of my friends was there, he was training for a fight. Obviously he knew I'd done boxing before, and his coach was drunk at the time that his fight was coming up, so he asked me to do some pads for him. So we just started doing a bit of pads and put him through a session. And then he said, can we do in a couple of days' time? I was like, yeah, no worries. And 3 of his mates were there, and it's just boomed from there. So it's gone from like, all by accident really, just helping out to what we've got now. 5 running, you get up at 4, yeah? If I say to you, your opponent done 10 rounds, you do 20. Always do more.
After finding out that Tony had been in prison, I asked him how he got into prison and how he felt that this shaped him and changed him to be the man that he is today, and also the role that it might have played in when he created Spartans.
So when I was 17, family friend sexually assaulted my sister. Ended up in an altercation, fight. Kind of it went a bit out of hand, obviously because of the mitigating circumstances there. My sister, got arrested and sentenced to 18 months in Norwich. It changed me. I didn't want to go back in there again. Being away from my friends and family, having your whole life turned upside down. It was difficult in there. It weren't nice. I would never, ever want to go back. And being where I am, in the position that I am now, managed to turn it around. I work in schools as well, so I'm a PE teacher. So the schools are really understanding about it. I'm very open, so if anyone asks me, I'll tell them straight away. I'm not ashamed of going to prison, which is a bit controversial to say, but in my eyes, I was protecting my family. I wouldn't do it again, but I'm not ashamed of what's done because it's moulded me into the person I am today, and I managed to sort of like take what I've learned in my life, and I can help the kids in the boxing gym kind of not to make the same mistakes and sort of like them kind of things, and learn from my life experiences, which I learned from older generations, from them, and the next generation learns from this generation, and so forth. So it's always try and be better than the last generation.
What were you doing for the 18 months? Like, how was it?
So when I was in there, I was still doing my college course because I was doing B.Tech public services. So my tutor was still sending me college work in. Yeah. Was just trying my best to keep focused and obviously keep out of trouble, which is quite difficult in jail. Lots of education and working in the gym, doing as much as I could in the gym, trying to get in there, every day. But mainly just keeping myself focused and having my plan about what to do when I go out.
How do you think going to jail has shaped you and changed you and made you the person you are today?
It's made me want to help people more, because anyone can achieve anything. So when I come out of jail, a lot of people from where I used to live, where I grew up in Bedford and Luton, it was, you're just going to fall into that same old thing, in and out of jail. And I was like, no, I'm not going to. I know what I want to do. And I just wanted to help people. Going into jail, I was sort of like helping the guys in the gym and, helping someone to read, and that's one thing I'm really good at, is helping people and making people see the best in themselves without them knowing it. We've got kids in the gym, young Joe, won the schoolboy championships, and he had no right winning that. He boxed some really good kids. He honestly had no right winning that, but through sheer determination and belief in myself and our other coach, Albert Smart, Joe won the schoolboy championships. That's an amazing thing. So I love helping people. Prison's taught me that. overwhelming experience going into gym. You're away from everyone. You know, sometimes you're backed up for 23 hours a day. You know, a lot of the guys in there, they smoke, they do drugs because it's easily accessible in there. But for me, I was just like, I want to bet myself. And I made a little plan. I've still got my bit of paper that I said my small goals that I wanted, and I've achieved all them now. So now I've made a new set of goals and we're moving into them.
What would you say this place means to you?
Well, without this place, I wouldn't have a lot of things. You know, I'd be probably a much different person. So I can only be grateful for what's given to me.
I feel like it's like a second family to me because like everybody just treats you like really like friendly and all that, and it's a good place to be.
It's second family, 100%. If I had any issues and I couldn't speak to my parents about it, I could speak to Tony. He's not just a coach. He is like another role model to me. You know, he's done a lot for me, a lot for a lot of kids in the club. You know, it's not just me that feels the way without Spartans. You know, I think a lot of children, adults see it as like another family. You know, a lot of kids that are getting bullied or picked on and stuff like that. It brings people, it makes confidence and gives them a bit of like self-encouragement and makes them feel better about themselves.
This is my everything. I've been with Tony since 5, so yeah.
So it's a big part of my life. It's almost like one of my kids. Really, it's took me so many years to build the gym up to what it is now. I'm here 5-6 days a week, travel up and down the country. It means the world, it means everything to me. It's a bit of a difficult question to answer because there's so many emotions involved in the club, but it means the world to me.
What would you do if Spartans wasn't here?
Wow, if Spartans wasn't here, I don't know. I'd probably just be a bit of a loose cannon.
Yeah.
Probably, I'd have no drive, no ambition. You know, so, yeah.
I don't know at this point. Probably, yeah, just be funny, like
Yeah.
completely different.
I think that's in every single male. They want to fight and they have to. You have to get that release out. So why do it in the street when people can carry knives and you know, one punch can kill. You can hit someone. I was in jail with someone who just passed his university degree, went with his mum celebrating. Someone tried to like grab his mum's purse. He's punched him, and the bloke's died. You know, he got 6 years for manslaughter. But when you come into a boxing gym, it's in a controlled environment. So we've got big gloves, head guards, gum shields, groin guards. You've got a coach in the ring with you. So everything is in a controlled manner. Nothing gets out of hand. Not saying that a boxing gym isn't dangerous, because boxing is a very dangerous sport. But when it's in a controlled manner, it's so much better for them to focus that natural aggression that's in every single male in the world. They channel that into the boxing gym. So I kind of say your punch bag is the best therapist in the world. You know, if you've had a bad day, come in and hit the punch bag. Punch bag ain't gonna punch back. Punch bag ain't gonna go to the police. The punch bag ain't gonna swear, ain't gonna talk to you. So that's what that's there for.
How did the lockdown affect you, and what were you doing in it?
I stopped. I like lost obviously the boxing for a couple of months, so I got quite lazy. So I was just eating, not running or anything.
I was doing nothing really, just really annoyed that I couldn't go boxing and do the things I love doing.
Oh, it was hard. It was really hard because at the time I had 2 fights. I had another fight coming up. I broke my hand unfortunately just before COVID, so I missed our home show, which is the big show on the box on. So it was like a bit heartbreaking because after that I had Mexico, I had Barcelona, I had California. I had so many things planned. I wanted a busy year because I wanted to turn over at the end of it and become professional. So I wanted a busy year, lots of amateur fights, get a lot of experience under my belt, ready for when I turn over. But unfortunately, it hadn't happened that way, and I've had to just grin and bear it and turn over now.
Hit rock bottom. Yeah, that's really, really difficult. We've got to understand with boxing clubs, it's not just 1 hour here or there. The kids, the adults, they're in with me and Elton 10 hours a week training. And when we go to shows, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's 10 hours at a time. So it's a lot of time to spend with a group of people. And that just got took away from us completely. I was lost. I didn't know what to do. So depression hit in. I gained 2 stone in weight, just eating and twiddling my thumbs at night, just nothing to. I've been in tears, drinking, just anything to kind of fill the void of not being in the gym and doing what we love doing it. So yeah, massive effect on my mental well-being more than anything.
Did lockdown stop any plans that you had, like any shows or anything like that?
Yes. Yeah, boxing, I would have liked to add another national title to last year's, but obviously coronavirus, that's not unfortunately going to go ahead, but just keep ticking over and get ready for when we can.
Yeah, a lot. We was meant to do a lot of things this season. A lot of fights would have happened. Obviously the championships to start off with, then a few more fights down the line. So yeah, big impact. We also made the national finals as juniors, meant to fight on the Sunday, but due to lockdown, I didn't get to fight.
Since the gym and boxing has reopened, there's been many restrictions that have been in place. I wanted to know how they thought the gym and the classes were doing with all the restrictions.
Well, I think they're doing good, but I think some people are a bit annoyed that we can't do like sparring and pads and stuff like that.
Well, under the circumstances, you come into the gym almost every single night and it's full, to the max that it can be. So, as hard as it's been through being closed, I hope we've recouped that through getting people through the door.
In a sense, yeah, I do understand, but the main argument I see is if footballers can play football, why can't boxers box? They're not staying 2 meters. I understand that we're a contact sport and there's punching and there's blood and sweat and everything, but football ain't as I don't know how to word it, it's not as aggressive as people think. Football can be aggressive, people are dirty players, people go in for hard challenges, people bleed, people get hurt, but I don't know, they just look at boxing as a completely different area of sport when it's not. So I do understand that people's safety needs to be put in, but then it needs to be put in across all of sport, not just certain parts.
Which then led me on to if they felt all the restrictions were needed.
No, personally.
I think some of them are, but some of them aren't, because some people are playing football right now, but we're not allowed to do sparring and stuff. But yeah, I think some of them are doing.
So, me personally, I don't really think that the restrictions are needed as much. We're in a boxing gym. Everyone's super fit, they're all healthy. No one's allowed to come to training if they have any symptoms. We do temperature checks before and after. I'm in constant contact with all the parents. If any of the kids have had any symptoms, I know all the schools, so if I know any schools are on lockdown, I'm in touch with them. So me personally, I don't think that they're needed as much, but we're still sticking to the rules. So everyone's still social distancing. I'll wear my visor because some people do feel that the restrictions need to be in. So the main thing is keeping everyone safe, keeping the gyms open.
Yeah, definitely, because obviously we don't want a second lockdown. Yeah.
Because of all the restrictions that are in place in the boxing gym alone, I want to know if they felt the government was handling this in the best way.
I believe it's all been blown up a bit too much. So I believe right now how football's allowed, every other sport's allowed, but we're not allowed to fight yet. I don't think that's right, so hopefully we can fight soon. At the start, yeah, lockdown needed to be done everywhere worldwide. I personally think we opened up a bit early, out of lockdown. At this moment in time, as I said, for boxers it's harsh at the moment, COVID, because we're missing out on a lot of experience and a lot of stuff we need to be doing that we just can't do. But I can't argue against the government. Whatever I say ain't going to change anything. You know, no one could have prepared for it, no one could have planned for it. The government are doing what they feel is right, and all we can do as citizens is just follow the rules and just hope that it'll pass.
I think the government have like handled it well, and like for like clubs, I wish like from the start it could have been like outside sessions. Like I started doing, Tony started doing like halfway through lockdown.
I mean, it's one of them ones, isn't it? It's 50-50, it's what you know, what you don't know, so I can only really go off what I hear, so, you know, not very well.
Yeah.
You know, we're still here, we're still wearing masks, and we're still seeing a lot of people die, so not very well.
Other areas of the country going back into lockdown, I want to know their thoughts on if we went back into another lockdown and how that would impact them.
Awful, especially how we've just started training again, getting fit, just to all to go down the drain again.
Oh, I'll be heartbroken. I'll be devastated because, as I said, I want to turn over a professional. Missed out a lot of experience with the amateurs, and then I'll be missing out more time of being professional, more training, more things I could be doing to better myself for my career. I'll be missing out on, and it's not just like personally for me either. There's a lot of people that suffer from mental health and have issues and stuff, and they're going to be stuck in at home again. And there's people that have lost partners and now they're going to be living on their own if it goes back into another lockdown. It's going to be heartbreaking for so many people in so many different ways. It's just, I'd struggle, you know, and I'm only 22, I live with my family, you know, and I'll still personally struggle. I couldn't imagine what it's like for some people. I'm quite lucky for the situation that I'm in, and I know that I'll struggle.
Lost, disappointed, angry, upset. It's a big mix of emotions because we have 120 people come through the door a week. They're all here for one reason: to better themselves, physically, mentally. There's a handful of them that come in for competitions, but most of our students are here for mental well-being and health and fitness. So if you take that away, that's 120 people at risk of mental health deteriorating, eating habits going, having structure in your life. You know, the area that we live in is a deprived area, so there's not much for people to do, including adults. Okay, so if you walk around Yarmouth, you'll see charity shops and betting shops, not a lot much else. So here is a safe haven for all of them people. I'd say we're probably the last youth clubs now, boxing gyms. You know, the kids come in, you know, they're having a laugh with their friends, and you've got such a mix of people in one group. So you could have, like myself, I've been to prison, a police officer can come in there, you've got a fireman, you could have a nurse, you could have whites, people of colour, different religions, and we're all here for one thing: boxing. There's no bullying in the gym. You know, we prevent all of that. So if you've taken that away from everyone, what they're going to do? The kids, they're going to be out causing mischief. They're going to be getting, because they've got nothing else to do. You know, so boxing is, for a lot of people, is their life. We've got members here who have said to me, boxing has saved their lives. You know, borderline suicide, and if it wasn't for boxing, they wouldn't be here today. So, you know, do another lockdown. If it needs to be done, they've got to do it, but they need to consider about having gyms open.
I would then, like, obviously, like the first lockdown, I started drifting away and all that. I would push myself to go out for runs yeah.
Actually, I'll be so angry because then I just got fit again, and now I'm just going to get more lazy again.
I think it would be, you know, not just on my behalf, but probably a lot of other boxers. It could, you know, have a huge effect on their future in boxing. You know, I'd like to think that I'll never give up. You know, but I probably can't say the same for a lot of other people. You know, they're going to get bored if they can't come into the boxing gym. You know, so you're going to miss a generation of boxers, unfortunately, if that happens.
One of the biggest restrictions that has been put in place is sparring is not allowed in the classes. I want to know if that affected any of their training and how they felt about that.
Well, I say this a lot, we're fighters, we're not athletes, we don't like doing press-ups, we don't like running, we like fighting, like sparring and doing pads work, so when that gets taken away, as a boxer you don't quite feel complete, so it's weird, it's not right.
Yeah, sparring gets you sharp, ready to go, makes you feel good, but obviously no sparring, we're rusty, and yeah.
Lessons, do you try to teach to keep it in the ring and the gym instead of on the streets? Because obviously, like you said, there's knife crime where it can get out of hand really quickly, or like you said, one punch can change your life.
100%. We've got a rule in this gym, boxing stays in the gym. You're trained to hurt people. We know how to punch correctly. We can see punches coming, so all of my boxers, and not just my boxers, any boxer in the world knows not to use the boxing out in the street, because the bigger person walks away. If your back's against the wall and you've got no choice but to fight, then you've got to do what you've got to do, because if you're getting jumped by 6 guys and you've got nowhere to go, you're going to have to fight. But in general, most of it is just walk away. You don't need to do that. A lot of my lot just laugh and just go, it's a waste of time. But I'm boxing in London at the weekend. Why would I fight on the street? It's a pointless exercise. But we've all done it. Boxing is a working class sport. So most boxers come from council estates. There's nothing to do in a council estate. There's no youth clubs anymore. So they're going to get up to mischief. They're going to be fighting and whatnot. But so yeah, get them in the gym, and none of them use it outside of the gym.
Another element that might have affected their training is no amateur shows are allowed. I want to know what they felt about the amateur shows not being allowed, but pro shows still going ahead.
Nothing to aim for. There's someone can train, but you don't have that mentality of I'm going into a fight, I'm training to be in a fight. I'm training hard, I'm doing my circuits, I'm doing my runs, I'm doing everything 110%, whatever we can do in the gym, 110% of it, but it's the fact with dieting, I'm not dieting right now because I've got no weight limit to get to, I've got nothing to aim for, so why am I going to restrict my eating to cut down to a certain weight and make training harder for myself with nothing to achieve at the end of it, As I think there's a lot with people with COVID at the moment, especially because there's no amateur shows, they've just stopped boxing, they've got nothing to aim for, so they're seeing it as a waste of time because boxing isn't an easy sport, Yeah.
I really miss them, because I just enjoy fighting for Spartans and showing all my skills.
We're not training as hard as we were, but we're still training 3 times a week and stuff, so yeah, it's just we're not as intense, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so when I next get in the ring, it'll be probably about a year haven't been in the ring, so it'll be ring rust, it'll be sloppy, but yeah, big impact as well.
After all these questions and hearing all the boxers and trainer, I wanted to know their thoughts on the effect that this gym has to the community and Spartans has on the community as well. Trying to see if they think the area would be different without Spartans.
Well, you look at the sort of people, that you can pull off the streets, not just around here, but specifically this club. I know, a lot of people come in and it's done a lot for them, it's put them on the straight and narrow and just giving them a home that they don't really feel like they have outside of here.
Massive effect, we're not in a giant city, we're a little town, Great Yarmouth, and everyone knows everyone. There's a lot of people that come down and they see all the stuff like Top Boy on Netflix, and they see all the chavs in London and stuff, and they're getting that sort of attitude now. That generation's getting a bit more of an attitude, and You know, the kids that come in this gym don't have that attitude. You know, they come in, be it if they've been bullied, they've been a bully, or come from any background, any environment. You know, they come in, everyone gets treated the exact same way, and everyone comes into this place and absolutely loves it. You know, no one comes in and hates it because it's such a good environment. Everyone's so friendly here, everyone's accepted, everyone's like so welcoming. So for the people that are struggling or have problems at home or just are in a bad group of people that get away from that and come to here, it's just better than everyone, and there's a lot more like knife crime, violence on the street and that. And you know, even if you don't come to fight or to get fit and you just want to learn a bit of self-defence, you know, it builds people's confidence. People feel a bit more safer walking around because they know they can look after themselves. But it definitely betters the environment. It helps a lot, the youths a lot. You know, people look at it as just a boxing club, but you're not. If you go and look in our sessions, there's a lot of young lads in there, like teenagers. They come in, they train as hard as the adults, they absolutely love the place, you know, and their first one's in is the last one out. You know, people absolutely love it.
I think it helps a lot of people that need it, or maybe like in trouble or something.
Yeah.
A lot of things, but yeah, it helps a lot of people. I think it would be a lot different really, because Tony helps like a lot of people. So yeah, I think it'd be, yeah, if you weren't here, it wouldn't be that good really.
Yeah, due to a lot of people come to this gym, see how good it is, but without this gym, there wouldn't be a lot of boxing around this area, I believe.
Then the last question I had to ask him is, what do they love most about being a boxer and training at Spartans?
Showing people what they're capable of without them knowing it. So we're from a very small town. We've got 5 national champions in Amateur Boxing Alliance. For a town like Great Yarmouth, for me, that's unbelievable. Yeah, so showing people what they're capable of without them knowing it, watching people grow. Whether they continue with the boxing or not, we've got a few boxers. So one of the boys, Charlie, he boxed for a few years, had a couple of bouts, didn't want to do it anymore, carried on training, not to compete. Now he's in the army. Seeing some of my boxers opening their own businesses. Not saying boxing done all that for them, but it helps. It helps them grow into a better person. So making people better is one of my main goals.
Just knowing I'm training that hard, like I have to push myself, do everything on my own, knowing I can do that like on my own, it feels amazing for me.
Obviously it comes with a lot of hard work, but it comes with a lot of positives. You know, there's no better feeling than winning a fight. There's no better feeling than pleasing your coaches. So yeah, just keeping the coaches happy and making yourself happy is it really.
It just does so much for my mental and physical side of things, and just makes me who I am today.
It's hard because there's not one specific thing that I love. It's just, I think if I boxed in a different gym, I wouldn't have the love for it that I do with this gym. You know, this gym is not, I don't come in, train and go home. I come in, I have a laugh with everyone. Everyone here is my friend. There's not one person in this gym that I dislike the slightest. Everyone's so nice. Everyone gets along with everyone. No one has rivalries. No one wants to see anyone do bad. Everyone's bigging each other up, making everyone train the best, you know. And when you go to football matches and you see a lot of team rivalries and stuff like that, but with boxing, you go into the ring not knowing each other. You punch each other for how many rounds, how many minutes you do, and at the end you hug, shake hands, you leave and you talk to each other in the changing room, like, it's a good fight, you hit me with this, you hit me with that. In other sports you don't have that. You know, there's a lot of friendships and stuff made through boxing. It's crazy, I don't know how, I can't explain it either, and I do it, I don't know how I can go in and punch someone and be their mate after. You know, it's a weird thing, but it's just how boxing is. Everyone in the community, the boxing community is so friendly and polite, no one hates anyone.
I like being around like positive energy with Tony and everyone like that, like Elton, and it's just really fun.
I just love like fighting, like enjoy watching boxing, and that's what made me get into it, and like getting fit and all that and staying in that physical shape.
You said there's no youth clubs. Do you think because there's a lack of youth clubs that's a bad thing for like the communities and?
100%, yeah. Look, if you take away youth clubs, boxing gyms, football clubs, what are the kids going to do? They're going to be getting fat and mentally unwell because they're glued to a phone, glued to an Xbox, when you should be out doing stuff. You should be out playing and doing sports. When I was younger, I didn't have a computer, I didn't have a mobile phone, so my enjoyment was going boxing, playing football, playing basketball, going out with my friends. But this generation now is so lazy and very controversial. I think a lot of it is down to parents. You've got kids having kids. Kids don't know how to be parents. That's hard. So you've got a lot of mums and dads trying to be friends with their kids. You should be your kid's friend. I say to my kids, I love my kids more than anything. I'll do anything for them. But I said, you don't have to like me. I'm not your friend. I'm your father. I'm teaching you how to be an adult and how to behave responsibly, be respectful. But when you've got adults trying to be friends with their kids, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So I feel this generation has fell behind with that. But you need youth clubs. You've got to get youth clubs open. Boxing gyms, the more the better. Football clubs, rugby clubs, get all the sports clubs you can, get all the kids involved, and you'll see less kids out in the street getting into trouble, drinking, doing drugs, because they've got a focus in life.